I cannot wait to tell you today's story. Today we've got the story of a man who managed to combine his faith, his belief, his really clear vision of what he wants to achieve, positive action, all of these things together to achieve something quite amazing and incredible. So today I will be telling you the story of Desmond Doss. Now, Desmond Doss was a young man born and bred in America, and he lived in a very religious and Christian family. So one of the mantras that he was brought up around was, "Thou shalt not kill." That was ingrained in Desmond Doss's mind. But obviously the Second World War kicked off, and there was this huge struggle and this huge challenge, and Desmond Doss wanted to do his duty. He felt that within him, he felt that rise up. So he enlisted into the American army, but he was adamant and said to his commanders, "I will only ever save lives. I will never take lives." So Desmond Doss declared there and then that he should never bear arms, he won't carry a rifle. And if I'm being honest, he was vilified for that decision. But Desmond Doss was clear, his vision was clear. His part to play, his role during the Second World War was to save lives and never take lives.
Now, a few of you might know this story from the famous film HACKSAW Ridge. If you have or haven't seen it, stay tuned because this is an awesome tale.
Because of his views on pacifism, Desmond Doss joined the medical corps and became a frontline medic. And in May 1945, he and his company were sent to the island Okinawa. Okinawa was an island where the Japanese had been strengthening their defences for years. So the challenge that laid ahead of the American troops was unimaginable. They had to scale a cliff face, HACKSAW Ridge, to get to the battlefield and then assault the Japanese lines. Day one was a huge success as the American forces advanced. They bombarded the Japanese lines with artillery and they made good progress that day, but day two was a different matter altogether. Out of nowhere, out of the smoke and the carnage of the previous day, the Japanese forces counterattacked, and it was ferocious. This huge fight ensued, and before long it was clear that actually the American soldiers, they couldn't keep up, they couldn't match that Japanese threat, and they had to retreat, they had to get back. They had no choice but to scramble back and scramble down the face of HACKSAW Ridge, down that same net that they'd climbed up the day before. Now what was left behind them was a scene of devastation. Injured soldiers, injured servicemen lay strewn everywhere. And Desmond Doss was up there in amongst that carnage. He had retreated back to the ridge. He was looking down thinking, I could get down, I could go to safety. But there was something that was speaking to Desmond. There was an inner call of, I need to save someone. I need to save one soldier, just one more. He knew that his purpose, his vision was to save lives and never take lives. And that is what called Desmond Doss to action. So he got to work. He combined his clear vision of saving lives and never taking lives with positive action, and under constant fire from the Japanese, went back out into the battlefield and started to get to work. Now Desmond Doss said to himself, I'm just gonna save one life, one more life. And he saw a soldier, he treated him on the battlefield, and under fire brought him back to HACKSAW Ridge, made a makeshift noose, what would you call it, Charlie? What did he make? He fashioned a makeshift winch and began single-handedly winching the soldiers down the cliff face to safety. Now, one man had been saved, and Desmond could have followed him down and saved his own life, but something was ringing through his mind. God, give me the strength to save just one more. He didn't get overawed by the size of the task that was ahead of him. He broke it down into manageable pieces and he said, right, I'm gonna go back out there at the risk of my own life and I'm gonna save just one more man. And that is what he did. He went out there, found his next injured soldier, his next victim, treated him on the battlefield and repeated the process. And again, said to himself, I'm going to save just one more. And that inspires us massively, because we can take so much from that. Break down the task you have ahead of you, which can be quite daunting, and put it into a manageable chunk that you can act upon. Desmond Doss is combining vision, action, and this technique of breaking things down, and he did something incredible that day. He was exhausted, he was under constant fire, his life was in danger that whole day, but Desmond Doss managed to save 75 soldiers by repeating that simple mantra, the mantra of just one more. What an incredible tale, what an absolute legend. The thing is that really gets me with Desmond Doss's story is that heroes of wars are normally warriors, but he was a pacifist, he was a lover, not a fighter, yet he made a huge contribution. Just think for a second, 75 soldiers, how many of those married? How many of those had children? How many of the children's children had children? You get what I'm saying? Like, the people who are on this planet alive today probably number their thousands, because one man took a positive decision in the face of huge challenge. Desmond Doss in our book is an absolute hero. He's a rarity, and there's so much that we can all take from his story. Desmond Doss never set out to save 75 people. You've heard me talk about just one more, and that's all he did that day. Just one more, just the next step. And there's so much that we can take from that. These small gains that compound over time. And actually, something that I've learned in my own life, it's a superpower. You don't have to change the things in your life in one instant, all at once, but just look for that 1%. Just look for that small action step, and then take another one, and then take another one. And in time, it can take you anywhere you want to go. So that is the end of Action Month. We've heard 3 incredible stories this month. We've heard the tale of Nicholas Alchemade, Bessie Coleman, and now Desmond Doss. Next week is slightly different. We're going to be having a coaching session, so we're going to be using these stories from the past, but we're going to actually show how they are relevant and they can make a huge difference in our lives going forward. So I cannot wait till next week. As usual, links to our socials, links to our Patreon pages in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers, guys.